Welcome to Catholic Education Matters, the podcast that celebrates the beauty of Catholic education, highlighting excellence in academics, athletics, and the transformative power of faith. Join us as we share the stories of those making a lasting impact on Catholic education. Let's begin. Good day, everyone, and welcome to Catholic Education Matters. My name is Troy Van Vliet, and I am excited today to be here with Rolando Islas. Thank you so much for coming, Rolando. I am so excited to have you because we've been talking a little bit before we started here already, and there's so many things that we have to talk about today. So I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you for the opportunity to come and talk about work. As I was telling you,
Yes.
We philosophers are these rare breed that we love to talk about work. So
Yes.
so it's always exciting.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, you have quite a robust bio here as well. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read some of it out here, just to kind of give the audience a chance to get to know you, what you're all about. And so first of all, you have your doctorate in philosophy and having researched thesis on the nature of belief.
That's correct.
That's an exciting thing. Okay, so you have your master's in philosophy of science, a master's in business administration, and a master's in information technology. You've established your first software development company as a young adult and grew it to international scope nearly 30 years later, selling the enterprise in 2019. And since then, you've dedicated full time to academia and research with over 20 years of teaching experience. And your interests are focused on the convergence of technology, philosophy, and belief, covered partially in a book on digital humanities published by McGraw-Hill?
McGraw-Hill. Yeah.
Sorry, I read that wrong. And a number of papers within a similar scope. Now, your teaching experience covers a wide range of courses from business management to philosophy-related programs. You are a member of the board of Vancouver Foundation of Art, Justice, and Liberty, and your research is currently in the field of philosophy of technology in collaboration with the Universidad del Desarrollo. You can say it.
Del Desarrollo in Chile.
Okay, in Chile. All right. And Università Campus Biomedical in Roma, Italy. So you're a full-time professor of moral philosophy, business ethics, and ethics of mass media at the University of Canada West.
That's correct.
Wow. Wow. So you are more than accredited, and you are going to have a great time chatting today with some of the topics that we have to discuss. So, first of all, question to get us started. Can you tell us about the course that you're teaching on business ethics and how it integrates protective values with our faith?
Okay, well, that is a challenge because teaching in Canada nowadays, it has to be very neutral. You cannot really make any reference to religion, beliefs, or whatever, which is
right.
Is challenging for a philosopher. We are usually,
and you're referring specifically to sorry to interrupt, but in the public system.
In the public system.
Yes.
Well, I was teaching before at the City University of Seattle, which is extremely liberal.
Yes.
I mean, we even have to sign a contract where we state that we are not going to be heading into any kind of religious belief or it really doesn't make sense. As I was hired, I told them, I'm a philosopher. Philosophers are about beliefs. Mm-hmm. So we follow certain rules.
Right.
And I am a philosopher who was let's say formed under Aristotelic Thomistic philosophy.
Right.
So I cannot walk away from my from my beliefs.
Exactly.
And I, to be honest, I really didn't care a lot. I was my classes, my teachings were under my own beliefs. So what is a challenge today in teaching business ethics?
Yep.
Is what is the purpose of a business? Usually, the students will tell you the purpose of a business is to make money, and I am in total disagreement with that. Is at the beginning, let's put it that way, when we began to trade, it was about the service. It was about fulfilling some needs. When we get into this extreme capitalism, this model leads us to the almighty money. That's the only thing that matters. That's it seems to be like the door or the gateway to happiness, and it is not. I mean, if it was truth, I mean, Donald Trump and Elon Musk will be the happiest people on earth, and they don't seem to be quite there, right?
Yeah.
So so it's a challenge to confront that model. Say, well, we have to think about purpose. What is that we are building towards society? What is the service? What are the goods that we're delivering? And one of the problems is where is that this model comes from? I mean, this model. How is that this idea that money is going to make you happy nests in our heads? And that has to do a lot with media, right? And all of these craziness that we have in terms of the amount of information that we have to process. It's quite interesting when you get into a classroom, and I usually do this exercise with my students, and I tell them, I am the genie in the bottle. I can give you one gift. Just ask whatever you want. Usually the answer will be, I want to be rich, or I want to be famous. And famous people are rich.
Yeah.
But when I ask them why, they struggle to explain why is that someone wants to be rich. Well, because money comes with a lot of demands. I tell them it's always a trade. I mean, you're going to have a trade-off with whatever you possess. So what is the trade-off with money? Well, I also put this example, like let's imagine that we buy the Lotto 649 for this Friday. So we go to bed being poor, and we wake up the next day with $60 million in the pocket. What is the first thing that you lose? And they struggle, and we have a lot of discussions, but usually we get to the same answers consistently, is we lost trust. Now I'm not sure why people are getting close to me.
Oh, right.
And the other one is what is the greatest fear that surges with the money is the fear of losing it.
Losing it, yep.
So then you have to, I mean, instead of having this freedom to enjoy life and do whatever you want, you have to learn about money. You have to get a lawyer. You have to get an accountant. You have to get a financial advisor. You have to really understand what is going on.
Yeah.
So everything comes with these trade-offs. The problem is that we are, well, one of the problems is, I don't want to be reductive. One of the problems is that we're losing the ability to reflect on why is that I want this, why is that I want that.
Yeah.
So it's one of the main concerns today is that people cannot see their wealth. We're always looking up.
Oh, yeah.
We cannot see what we have.
Yeah. Nobody looks below them.
Yeah.
And sees what they have over everybody else. They're always looking up. Yeah. You're right. What do I don't? What do I don't have this. I don't have that. And it just continues on in that battle.
Yeah.
That you're trying to strive for more always.
Yeah, and that's a problem because that generates a lot of anxiety.
It does.
I am never where I want to be. I am always wishing for what the neighbor has, and keeping up with the Jonases. It's
Mm-hmm.
become like the rule of the day now.
Yep.
Before before technology, to keep up with the neighbors, you just have to go out and look what the neighbors. Oh, the neighbor has a new car, or what. Now we have it in our phones. We have it in all the screens that we are related to.
Now we see what neighbors have around the world
Yeah,
on every street,
exactly.
everywhere. In fact, you can see on every street. You Google Maps and you go to Street View and you can see everything everywhere
Oh yeah.
around the world. Anything that you want to see. It's a
Yeah.
massive, massive distraction.
Now
And it's
think in terms of education. What is that we are putting in the heads of our youth today? Is this anxious disease of I'm never going to be able to have enough.
right.
I have a very anxious kid at home, and I remember he took my attention when he was 8 years old because he had all the numbers, the numbers that can that an 8-year-old can do, right? But all the numbers of how much money he had to make in order to buy a house in Vancouver.
Oh wow.
And that's anxiety. that is really, really.
That's a big mountain to be climbing in
Yeah.
this city. Yeah. Oh wow. So what are we teaching our kids in school? So what are we teaching them about life and about the meaning of life and what have you? Public system versus our private system too, or specifically, let's say our Catholic system. What are we teaching them? Where are we going wrong?
It's that is a complicated, complicated matter.
I know it's not on the list of questions
no.
here,
But it's. I mean, first of all, we need to understand that education has, or that our generation has been relying a lot on let's say, on the institutional education, but we're forgetting that also media educates.
Right.
And nowadays we're exposed to media in lots of ways. I love this quote from Plato that he's probably the first philosopher that got to question media as a tool for educating youth. And of course, I mean, media in his days were he talked about music. He talked about the example of adults, and he talked about the culture. He talked about stories. But if you bring all of that into our days, is you will have what we call mass media. What is mass media? Everything. I mean, medium is something that is delivering.
it's intentional.
Yeah.
There's something that it's trying to get you to do or to act on, or
Yeah, and media is what it delivers is information. Now I love the and this is how Plato approaches it. He says, well, the problem is in information. The root of the term is the Latin word will be informare, so it's forming something. So what Plato sees as forming is shaping the soul. Well, it is information shapes the soul of individuals, especially the youth. The youth are more. He sees the soul of the youth as a more malleable material. So how is that music? Shapes the soul of the youth. He would say, well, if you listen to the music that is played in the battle, it gets you to this relationship with courage and fighting. And but if you listen to melancholic music, it makes you weak. So you have to be careful of what music you listen to. Now, if you listen to the lyrics of the music today, I mean, Plato will be having a heart attack right now.
Oh yeah.
The other one is the stories. He was concerned about the stories of Hesiod and Homer, saying, well, the problem with these stories is that we are letting our kids to learn about all the misdoings of the gods. Is the gods I mean, are cheating people, are even sometimes killing people, are deceiving, and they have all of these fights, and Plato is concerned about young generations not being able to understand. They are not mature enough to handle these mythologies, and we are in the middle of this mythological craziness nowadays. We have the mythology of youth, the mythology of money that we were talking about, and all of these stereotypes that we follow.
Yeah.
And the other one is the culture. What is that overall the culture is telling us? So but I mean, he also relies on the role of the educator. That the philosopher is the one who was educating the youth as well, but he's not the main weight. So how is, I mean, going back to your question, how is that the system or the education system should be built, especially nowadays, or not be built? Is we're facing a lot of changes. I mean, technology is forcing us to change. How is that the system is going to change due to technology? It's another huge conversation. But my point is, we cannot rely on being in the education system. Family is one of the pillars that I feel sometimes we are missing. We are relying too much on the educational institutions, and we're forgetting our role as role models.
And especially in our public education systems, they want us to forget our roles.
Yep.
They're just saying like, no, leave it to us. You know, we'll take care of the kids. And in fact, if the kids have certain psychological problems or emotional problems or things like that, they don't even have to tell the parents anymore. It's like, no, we're going to handle this at the school the way. And in fact, if the kid says, "Don't tell my mom and dad," but I've got, I'm feeling I've got gay tendencies or something like that or whatever, and it's like, well, no, we don't have to tell your parents. We can deal with that right here at school, or or I'm feeling suicidal. We can deal with that here at school rather than telling the parents, which is horrifying.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's just
talk about the nanny state. I mean.
And it's the control state. It's basically what they are looking for is to build a certain way of thinking or a stereotype that can be controllable. And if you don't have this relationship with your parents, that it's a hierarchical relationship, and the parent becomes the government, then you just follow.
Right.
And the government is going to be the one that is going to be solving everything that you need.
They want more government reliance. The government loves that. The government lives on that, thrives on that. Even if you're a politician that gets into politics for good reasons, it's quite easy to fall into that trap once you're in there, that more government is good, less government is bad. You know, it's like, well, we want to have more spending because the more we spend, the more we rely on government. And like $10 a day childcare. You know, you hear things like that, and you're like, why do we have anything from the government for childcare? Why are we not taking care of our own kids?
Yeah,
like this is insanity. Why are we reliant? The more we rely on government, the bigger government gets, and the more we become a socialist society, which is what at the end of the day they want. But at the end of the day, it collapses because those types of governments have never, or society have never flourished around the world.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end, what makes you creative what makes you thrive is are challenges.
Right.
If you take away all of these challenges, there's I mean there's nothing. There's if you rely on the magic genie to solve everything, then what is your role?
What is
And
your role? And you've seen societies or different cultures that get destroyed by giving them everything for nothing.
yeah,
And I see our poor indigenous communities. We've destroyed them by just constant handouts and not, there's a hand up versus a handout, and we need more hands up than handouts. It doesn't get solved with a check. You just talked about that with
no.
winning the lottery. That's a whole nother form of anxiety, and it also takes away people's purpose and meaning when they've got nothing to do. You just give me checks. We all heard about the spoiled child,
exactly.
where they're given everything. Well, you've just destroyed them. They haven't had to work for anything. They haven't had to learn the value of money and whatever. They just write them checks, give them a card, and they can spend whatever they want to spend. And mom, dad, I need more money. And then you've destroyed that kid.
Of course, I usually put these or play with this analogy in the classroom. I tell them again, the genie. I'm the genie in the bottle, but now I am going to give you anything that you want.
Right.
The only thing that I am going to restrict is related to time. I cannot bring you back to the point where you're beginning to wish. In fact, I tell them, you don't even need to wish. I am going to know what you want, and in an instant, I am going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And then the question is, am I a good genie or an evil genie? And they end up realizing that I am an evil genie because I took away their purpose.
Right.
There's
You've
nothing
destroyed
to
them.
wish.
You've destroyed them.
Yeah, there's nothing. So what is the purpose of life if you don't have any purpose, any challenge, any project?
Yeah.
So we forget this. Is challenges are the ones that end up forging the personality. Is they Plato will tell you this shapes the soul. It makes you stronger. It makes you to wish to pursue some sort of project of building or
Right.
so.
And Plato talks of balance being a big.
That's Aristotle.
Aristotle. Yes.
Yeah, Aristotle. It's all about balance.
Yes.
He sees. He talks about these. The term in Greek is phronesis. So phronesis is the translation would be flourishing. It's a flourishing life. It's about happiness. So he sees that everything gets destroyed by excess. He specifically he says in his ethics, it's in the nature of things to be destroyed by excess. And so how is that you balance any excesses? Is through virtues. This is why his ethics are known as virtue ethics. So it's a way to gain balance, and only
Balance
people,
through virtues. Yeah. Okay.
So only virtuous people
Yeah.
can access to happiness, to a flourishing life.
Right.
So it's
And we had Dr. Abella on our podcast, and his book that he has out. It's called the Super Habits.
okay.
Is that correct, Silveria? Super Habits, yes. And it's all about virtues, and super habits built through virtues. And so Aristotle would love that book. I'm sure. Yeah, it's fascinating, and we have to put those in the forefront for our kids more so. These virtues.
Of course, yeah.
In order to be virtuous, in order to have that sense of meaning and purpose in life, we need to have those, and those will all align with our faith, with our Catholic faith.
And I mean, and this is where this role of family or the education in the core of the family gets very relevant, as you were saying. All of these ideologies that are surging today, they come like dressed up as moral trends. It's who doesn't want to accept everyone.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I mean, I had these conversations with my kids
Yeah.
at home. Is like, well, what is wrong with that? If people want to do this or that, or they have this preference or whatever, what is wrong? And like, well, what is wrong? That it's there's a lot of suffering around these trends. Is not right going or letting young kids to have all of this information. It's just like Plato was saying, you don't expose the youth to these stories from Homer and Hesiod because they are not mature enough to understand what is going on.
Right.
If we expose young kids to all of these definitions,
Yeah.
it's just like getting a kid into a classroom full, let's say, getting a boy into a classroom full of girls, 10 years old, and telling them that they have to choose a wife. I mean,
Exactly. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
It makes no sense,
Yeah.
right? It's a life-changing decision.
Exactly.
So we have to address these issues at home. We have to guide our kids in ways that we align with our beliefs.
And they got to pull some of those topics out of the schools.
Of course.
Yeah, like the SOGI programs that are not mandatory in schools, in the public school systems right now, but they're encouraged. And for kids today to be whatever they want and do whatever they want. And it includes, if I think I'm a cat, I'm going to bring a litter box to school, and that's where I'm going to go to the bathroom. And that's okay, is what they're teaching in school, and it's wrong. And that's the same analogy as letting a kid choose their spouse when they're 10 years old. Like what are you, that's crazy. You never let that happen. Why are we letting them believe that they are of the opposite gender? Yeah. Why are we going down that road?
And think about this. It's just like we have been here before. Is as I was telling you before we began, is these cycles of humanity seem to happen again and again and again, and we don't learn from history.
Yeah.
But I like to go back to the Greek philosophers, and this is also Plato, who said that when adults begin to behave like kids, and kids follow these behaviors, what we have is the search of tyranny. So we are there. I mean, these behaviors about being a cat, or I was reading the other day a Canadian guy that he identifies himself as trans age, and I was curious about the term, like, what is a trans age? So he is a 57-year-old guy who was married for a long time, has 7 kids, and all of a sudden he feels like he identifies himself as a 12-year-old girl. And he's fighting to have the rights of a 12-year-old girl. And of course, among the rights, and this is where it gets crazy, among the rights, he wants to be adopted. He wants to go to school with 12-year-old girls. And of course, he doesn't want to pay anything that has to do with his ex-wife or kids, because he's a 12-year-old girl.
Because he identifies as a 12-year-old girl.
And the worst part is that there's a couple that is willing to adopt him as a 12-year-old girl. Well, if you ask me,
And they're 12-year-olds identifying as adults, probably.
And it is, I mean, this cannot be okay.
The wheels are falling off. They are falling off. And how bad does it have to get? Well, I see people pushing back, starting to push back more now. Before, if you pushed back, you were called a bigot or a transphobe or the list goes on and on. The comebacks are name calling. It's like, oh, well, you're this, you're a label. And so you're just like, oh, well, I guess I don't want to be that label, so I better not say anything. I'm thinking this, and I know this to be true, but I better not say it out loud. but people are starting to say it out loud more now. Not enough, but more.
Of
now.
course, and I think that, I mean, I was born and raised in Mexico. Things are way more aggressive there, and
In what way?
and people are more direct, and we are used to confrontations. We're used to express our I mean,
Truths
yeah,
or the truth.
and in various ways is a more conservative country
Right.
in ideological.
Yeah.
So
They haven't fallen into the woke trap of everything goes.
Oh, and we
everything
have
goes all
our
the
fair
time.
share. Is again, the government is breeding this conflict between the rich and the poor, and it's getting crazy. So we have our fair share of craziness there. But what I was I forgot what I was going to tell you. This comes with age.
Oh, yeah. Well,
No.
Mexico. I'm happy.
About confrontations.
Yep.
So what I've learned in Canada is that Canadians avoid confrontations.
Yes.
They rather react in their own sphere of control. So, but they react. Is at some point, if you see the system or the education, the public system going south, what is happening is that people are beginning to educate their kids at home.
Yes.
Homeschooling is
homeschooling
growing
in leaps and bounds.
I don't know why is that government is not opening the eye to this. So this is telling you something.
Well, it's still because our government our governments, especially in British Columbia here, they're still led by the left. Like they're still left. We're led by that crowd, and that whole Soji idea that was that got in and passed through Parliament as an anti-bullying law or program. That's how it got passed, and it got passed by our more right liberal party in the province years ago, and now our left-wing Democrats are running with it, and it's being pushed down families' throats. And there are families that are finally standing up. Now, they'll vote with their feet. They'll either walk out and just say, we're not going to public school anymore. We're going to choose a private, especially a faith-based school that doesn't have this, or we're going to homeschool, where we know, and there's homeschool communities too. Like there's Catholic homeschooling communities like Ascend that are saying, you know what, enough. We don't trust this system. We're going to do it at home, and hence our faith-based schools are becoming more and more and more important, and putting the faith first in the faith-based school is important, because that's something. There's a slippery slope there as well. St. John Paul II is a Catholic school, but we're not just saying it's Catholic in name. We're Catholic in practice, and we put that first in our school, and that's a mandate that we're determined to have it continue on as well.
And I go back again to my previous point, like let's say talking about Catholic education.
Yeah.
If we rely too much on the institution and we don't leave the values at home, it's broken.
Right.
So it's not only about the relying on professors, teacher, or all of these influences. We have to understand that our kids now are connected through their phones, or these digital appendixes that we have everywhere, to these cultural inputs. So this puts a lot of stress into religious institutions, because you just don't, you are not only giving them information, you have also to be the role model.
Yeah.
that these kids are following. And at home, that role model has to be confirmed.
Consistent. Yeah.
Otherwise, it is broken.
Yeah.
It is just like the father that tells his kid, "Don't lie, don't do this, don't be aggressive," and as soon as he can, he sees dad lying and being aggressive, and so then you have what, for example, in technology is called the alignment data. It's artificial intelligence. At the end, it's modeled on human behavior, on human intelligence. So these models are the first inputs are taught. So you put a lot of data and you steer the model into something, and then there are some questions like, well, what are the values that the model is actually building or it's managing, and if you don't like the values, then you put alignment data. So to reteach this, well, we do the same. We are the family is where we align the information that our kids get,
Right.
where we explain all of these models that come from the different media. Now, nowadays we have a myriad of media. We should be concerned, for example, about the series that our kids watch. We should be concerned about the video games that our kids play. We should be concerned about so many things. It's all of this is education. Remember, Plato says this is what forms, what shapes the soul, and the soul is the one that is going to lead us to our beliefs.
Yeah.
And our beliefs lead us to choose,
Yeah.
and then into action.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was watching the news, and there was this piece of news that really gave me the shivers, because there's this assassination that there was this teenage girl that was killed in a brutal way. I don't even want to describe it.
All right.
And when the police were trying to find the motive, nothing was making sense. But they were able to figure out who did it and whatever. It was another kid. It was another teenager. And when he was asked why, what is the motive to do this? He says, "Well, I was watching this series Dexter,
Oh.
and I was following this chapter and I thought, like, man, what are we doing? And what is the responsibility on the people
Yeah.
who do these series? Making money will never justify
Yeah.
the atrocities that we see
Yeah.
in media.
No, it's absolutely incredible, the brainwashing and indoctrination in Hollywood right now. Well, speaking of Hollywood, we can talk about Disney a little bit. Maybe the Disney model that you were we were talking about before we started here today. What is the Disney model, and how is it affecting our kids? And how is it changing? How is it evolving? Enlighten us.
Before getting into the
Okay.
Disney model, one thing that we need to pay attention, and there are always these signs when things are going south, and depending on the age of our kids, we should really pay attention. For example, all of this violence in video games, in this series, and even in Disney. Disney has its dose of soft violence.
Yeah.
Are usually reflected in some trends in society. Think about this: how many mass shooters in the U.S. or in whatever in the world are women? Is
Virtually none.
virtually none. So it tells you something. is who are the main customers of violent video games? I mean, what is the nature of a male?
Yeah.
Is we are in nature more prone to violence,
Yeah.
and the other violent. I mean, on the other side, we see this trend of girls getting attention in social media by showing more.
Yeah.
We should be concerned about that. That is not right. That leads to
That's that out of balance thing.
yeah, and that links. I mean, for I'm talking about the Disney model. Disney is a transgenerational company. We grew up with Disney. We grew up with the stories, and as Marshall McLuhan, the Canadian scholar and ideologist of media, said, "Well, the medium is the message," which I will change a little bit. It will say the medium is also a message because there are many messages. So when we see the story in Disney, the princess and the prince, and usually the princess is a beautiful girl that is naive and is weak, and there's always someone, some evil witch that wants to destroy her just because of her beauty. It tells you a lot about the feminine side, right? So beautiful girls are weak. Beautiful girls need to be rescued, and you are going to be rescued if you are beautiful. If you are not beautiful, well, you probably have to be playing the role of the witch, or the role of no one. Now the prince is handsome. He is valiant, and he is a prince, so he's rich. He has this white horse. So if you are not into the stereotype of the prince, then who you are?
Who are exactly? Yeah.
And the main idea is that is the way to happiness. You find your princess, you find your prince, and then you live happily ever after.
Right.
Which is, we know that by definition that is absurd. You find your princess and you find your prince, and then you have to go through this project that is very complicated, right?
And you duke it out for the rest of time. Yeah.
So it comes with challenges, and the main challenge is that the princess is going to, the prince as well. We are going to get old, and we are going to lose our beauty, and we are going to go through all sorts of changes, and happily ever after is complicated, right? but it's in philosophy there's this root that is called semiotics. So semiotics is the study of signs. So all of these images come loaded with information. So I go back again to this idea of forming the soul, forming an idea.
Right.
So what is the information that comes, for example, with a princess? In order to be beautiful, you have to look in a certain way. So you just have to look into how is that the princesses, Disney princesses look. They have these impossible bodies, right? They have, and now you have a princess for every race. You have the Mexican princess. You have it's not Mexican, but it's Pocahontas, right?
Yeah.
And then you have probably the Norwegian princess, and it's Snow White, and then there you go.
Yep.
So there's a model that you can identify with yourself or with your heritage. And so you, in order to be like that, you want to follow the stereotype. And then you have Barbie. Barbie is a stereotype of the American girl, beautiful girl. Blondes have more fun. I mean, even in the movie, Barbie can jump from the roof of her house and she floats down to a pink Cadillac or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is telling you a lot. It's loaded with information. If you look like that, you have a perfect life. So, what happens when you look like that and you realize that you don't have a perfect life? Or what happens in a young mind when you don't look like that and then you justify your imperfections? That is a lot of anxiety. And then we begin to change.
Right.
And now you open, we have a very dark door, because if I don't comply with that model, I might comply with all of these different models.
Right.
And I can transition to whatever model I want. So
Through surgery or through drugs or through, we talked about through obsessions it could be eating obsessions.
yeah,
And anything to be able to transform into that of which I think I will be happy if. And that even can be of the other gender, whether to say, well, I'm not happy, so it must mean this needs to change, or that needs to change, or this needs to change. And, when I hear things on the left, it's like, well, people will justify their actions by saying, well, God doesn't make mistakes. It's like, well, no, he doesn't. Then why are you removing your breasts? Or why are you trying to have a sex change if God doesn't make mistakes? What are you doing? He made you the way you are. Be who you are and be the best version of who you are.
and this comes with a lot of pain. It's just because we are never going to be fully compatible with the model. These models are impossible. I remember once an interview that was done to Cindy Crawford. And, she was in the cover of Vogue magazine. And there was one of these reporters that asked her, how does it feel to be Cindy Crawford? And her answer was very clever. Are you talking to her, the image in Vogue, or are you speaking to me?
Yeah.
Because she is a different person. She is absolutely photoshopped. That is not me. So, but that is a model that we see.
Right.
So the relationship is there. And now talking about reinforcement, like in these models of knowledge, if you sell beauty products, what is the stereotype that you cling your products to? The princess, the princess model is, and then you coin heavy phrases, slogans that are also loaded with information. Like, for example, the L'Oreal says, because you're worth it. So if you're not worth it, what is your perception of how worth you are?
Right.
Right?
What is your worth? Yeah.
You want to be beautiful. You want to be like a princess. Then you have to earn it. And you know that worth is also related to expensive.
Right.
So, and we keep building on this. And then we talk about women's liberation.
Yeah.
That is not liberating.
Okay. Let's go there.
Another reinforcement that happens at home. And this is why I am always very concerned about what is going on at home. Is, let's say, as a father, do you see your teenage girl waking up, with all undone, probably with these pajamas that doesn't even fit, and what is going to be our reaction? Our reaction is also information. It tells a lot. If you would you tell your girl you look beautiful, even though she's just waking up and looks like a trash truck just slammed her? Or what is going to be our reaction when she's all dressed up and is going out to the prom? as a father, you melt. Like, oh, man, you look beautiful. Well, you're reinforcing the princess model.
Right.
We're all into this game. So we have to be aware of,
Can't overdo that kind of stuff.
yeah, we have, again, we go back to balance.
Yeah.
You cannot celebrate that that your kid is overweight,
Yeah.
or that is getting into some excesses, or that it looks terrible all the time.
Yeah.
But you cannot also just talk
Only-
to them
yeah.
when they look in the way that they comply with the
Right.
given stereotype.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're
there's
there.
there's that balance. There's that balance. And we watch it, we see that happen within families, and then we see it happen on a society level as well.
Oh yeah.
Because, it's like it goes through with women's liberation. It's like, well, there's the patriarchy. Men are not nice enough to women, or they're always holding women down, and they're always, to the point where we try and, level some of that out and say, okay, yeah, well, you know what, men, maybe you do need to be a little bit more sensitive, or a little, have better, well, sensitive is probably the best word in terms of expressing your emotions and things like that to your spouse and what have you, to your kids. And then we can't go too far, because now what society seems to do is now we're trying to feminize men.
Yep.
And we're weakening this whole generation of men, teaching them that they should be more like women. And then women, we're telling them that, well, they should be more like men.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got this role confusion right now. And you've got young women saying there's no good men in the world anymore. And you've got men saying, well, women are just too demanding because I need to be this tall. I need to be, have to make this much money. I have to, have this build and what have you. And then I'm afraid of losing my fortune that I've built up for for so long over a divorce. So, and now you've got couples just either not getting married. You've got women that are focusing on career to the point where they're 35, they're 38, they're not in a relationship, they don't have kids. And that's where society the wheels start falling off. Our birth rate it's in a massive decline. In Canada, I think this year was the first year where we're at a dead level birth rate to death rate.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same. We're not growing anymore. We'll be relying on our immigration for population growth. And that's not where you want to be as a society. It's very telling of what we've been pushing. Be careful what you wish for.
Of course,
And
yeah.
so I mean, I just threw a whole lot of different stuff
But
there, but it all falls in.
I mean, it's just acknowledging that we're in the middle of a storm here. It's
Yeah.
and the storm has many fronts. It's not just education, it's technology. It's all of these ideologies. Is our idea of freedom is totally out of control. We don't understand freedom anymore.
Yeah.
It's more anarchy.
Right.
The thing that we understand now
Yeah.
is we want to fight what is we don't have even a chance to win against nature. I got engaged a couple of months ago with another philosopher that he argues that there are no natural rules. Come on, man! This is just it's just this rule of it is in the nature of excess that everything. That if a system begins to decay, it will disappear. If not, just take a look into the third law of thermodynamics. You have your coffee, and the coffee, when it's hot as you like it, it's a perfect system. As soon as it begins to exchange information with the environment, it's going to decay.
Right.
And either you warm it up to the point that you like it, or it will disappear. Well, that is a natural rule. You cannot fight against that.
Right.
You can change your appearance,
Right.
but if you're a male, you will never, ever bear alive.
Right.
And I don't care how you put it, unless we invent some kind of device that is going to be a technological device that is going to make you better life. But it is not, I mean, it is not in natural rules. And we know that nature retaliates, nature balances itself. It's just this idea of disappearing and recycling is nature doing everything.
Right.
It's a perfect system.
Which leads into, we were talking about science and the triangle. Maybe you can delve into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I usually, as a philosopher, I usually get asked, well, what is the truth?
Right.
And I mean, we love the truth. Nobody loves to be lied, because you are going to make your decisions based on what is that you believe is going to be the truth. So truth is quite complex because our limitations. I mean, whenever you go into quantum mechanics, you begin to realize, like, whoa, man, this is beyond my ability to even think. But so the way that I envision the truth is within a triad. It's inside the triangle. The way that I see it is in the base of the triangle you have science. Science helps you to understand and prove what is in front of your eyes. Then you have philosophy. Philosophy helps you to build the bridge between science and reason. You have to understand what it means to you and how is that it affects your behavior. But then you have there are questions that cannot be answered without theology. This is my thesis was done under David Hume's philosophy. David Hume is, in my view, he has been over demonized because of his skepticism, but he never denies God. He's aware of this. He knows that his whole building will come down if he goes to this what he calls Pyrrhonic skepticism. He needs a figure there to explain natural order. This is why he falls into some contradictions in his dialogues of natural religion, because he attacks religious beliefs all the time, and at the end he conceals, which is very strange. But he needs these to get into the truth. So the only way that you can establish a dialogue between science and theology is through philosophy. So it's there are some questions where we have to, as I was telling you, we have to mind the gap between the creator and the creation. We will never understand the reasons why or the methods, but what we can see is the perfection of the creation. I don't see any failure in nature. I see consequences. We are complex systems, and complex systems are not linear.
Yeah.
We tend to think about cause and effect.
Yeah.
But everything that we do has ripples, and ripples in time and space.
Yeah.
So whatever we do right now might end up affecting future generations in ways that we have no idea. And then you might be thinking, like, why is that we have this disease? Is that God is evil, or it's one of his characteristics is that he is evil? No, it's just that this is the effect of someone making or doing something in another time and in another space. Right. But we're receiving the effects.
That's a true. That's so true because so many people ask that. Like, when horrible things happen in the world, how could God let this happen? Well, God has given us free will. He's given us. He didn't say go and live and I'll interfere everywhere and I'll make sure nothing good happens. Well, that may have been the Garden of Eden before the apple was eaten.
Yeah.
That was perfect. And then we chose, given free will, we chose to go against that. And it's like, okay, here you go. Now live it. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between is what we're living.
This is where one of my concerns when I say that people don't reflect, or we're losing this ability to reflect, because we now have this device that tells us everything: where to eat, where is the next gas station, when is that we are going to arrive, even who we should date. Especially young adults have all these apps. But we forget that we are made to believe, which is it's very ironic when you think about.
We're made to believe. What does that mean?
We cannot avoid believing. You can tell me that you don't believe in anything, and well, that is your belief, and then.
That's your belief. That in itself is a belief. Yeah.
Yeah. In logic is called a tautology, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you put an argument; it's always going to lead you to the same conclusion.
Yes.
So we are wired as human beings to believe,
Right.
because belief is the main gear into action. This is where all these stereotype and models and media and we are in a state of war, of trying to build your beliefs. Because if I can get into your beliefs, then I can manipulate whatever it is that you are going to be doing.
Right.
So, and we cannot avoid believing. Otherwise, we will be absolutely static.
Yeah.
And you can tell me that you're a skeptic, but then that is your belief. And I can believe in God or not, but that is my belief, and that is going to regulate my actions. The other tautology that we cannot avoid is we're made to choose. Again, you can tell me, well, I choose not to choose.
Right.
Well, that's
free will.
Yeah. And these two movements, if you will, these two actions happens in the silence of your soul, of your morality. Only you know what you believe, and only you know what is that you want to choose. The only way that I can get a glimpse into your morals is when you act, and it becomes ethical. So I know if it's good or not.
Right.
And then you reveal.
But where do ethics come from? Like, where is that rule? Like, if it doesn't come from, if it doesn't come from faith, if it doesn't come from theology or religion, where does that come from? How do you measure ethics? Because if it's all just what you believe and what I believe, then there are no ethics. There wouldn't be any.
We fall into a total relativism like we are falling now. It's
right.
Like,
there's no right or wrong. It's like everybody says, well, you can be whatever you want to be.
You want to be a cat?
Yeah.
Be a cat. That is your problem.
Exactly.
But
if we agree with it, if we just go along with it, then you can say that about anything. Pedophilia is fine.
Yeah, it's
why?
Yeah.
Because I feel attracted to kids, so therefore it's fine. That's the way I feel inside, so I believe it to be okay.
Yeah.
So therefore,
and that's the argument that many of these people use.
So then there's no rules against it. All of a sudden, there's no rules because if rules are all just based on feelings, well, and God has given us free will, and then we're in for mayhem and chaos.
Of course, and we are forgetting about one of the heavy hitters that brought us here, which is common goodness. If I don't care about common goodness,
right,
and I only care about myself, then I isolate myself and I don't listen to anyone. And by the way, this is happening, right? Is we hear other people, but we don't listen.
Yeah.
And that is a big problem, especially when it happens in the core of the family.
Yeah.
We have to listen. to the anxieties and
See, without religion, you can't even have common good, because common good becomes subjective.
yeah.
If I don't believe that's for the common good, if I believe, well, I'll use that horrific thing of pedophilia again. If I believe that that's the common good for everybody, then there is no common good. There is no where do we get our rules from? Like I said, in the West was built on Judeo-Christian values. It was. That's how it was built. That's how it was structured. Our legal system, not the system, but our laws were based on that. Common good, common good, if we go back to, do unto others what you, okay, well, these are biblical. These are biblical
And
things.
this is a way that we came to where we are.
Right.
We through caring through each other. There's a philosopher that I don't agree with these ideas, especially regarding religion, but he talks about rational disagreement. I can, as long as there's dialogue and there's reason and there's common goodness in the middle, we can rationally disagree. We can disagree on your beliefs and you can disagree on my beliefs. What we cannot disagree is in common goodness. What are we building towards the future? And this is, again, going back to basics, to Plato. This is his main concern, is getting this ideal republic. And in order to get this ideal republic, you have to care about common goodness.
But what is common good? Where does common goodness come from, though? And that's what I'm getting at. Without religion, without a faith, without a common belief system in a religion, how can you determine what common goodness is?
For example, common goodness is about caring about your needs. Is like,
Yeah, but my needs might be, once again, pedophilia. That's my need.
then again, in a complex system,
Yeah.
try to foresee the future. What is going to happen to kids is like this practice is.
Well, we'll
is
sexualize the
hurting
kids,
someone.
but sexualizing kids isn't a bad thing.
Like,
I mean, I obviously I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, but that's where I'm saying if we don't have a rule book to follow that we agree on, which once again the foundation of the West was Christianity that's built it. Well, we had a common belief on what is right and what is wrong.
Immanuel Kant will come to help us. He Kant was all about strict rules.
Yes.
So his ethics are known as deontology.
Yeah.
So he has the deontological proof. So he says, well, in order to know when you're in doubt about what is right or wrong, you have to universalize the premise that you are trying to prove. So, for example, is let's say that cheating is. Would you like to live in a world where everyone, with no exceptions, is going to cheat? This is the action that you're trying to evaluate.
Yep.
I am about to cheat on you, so I need to know if this is right or wrong. If the answer is yes, then the action is morally acceptable. If the answer is no, then you know that something is wrong. So you have to dig in to see why. Right?
So, but what if the answer to the twisted pedophile? What if the answer is yes? What if that person has the answer is that yes, I would live in a world where pedophilia is fine?
Then, according to Kant, that will be right. But this is universalizing everything. So
Right.
So I am going to hurt your kid as well, because you are letting me.
Well, okay. So the argument would then be is I'm going to hurt your kid, but only because we haven't sexualized our kids properly. So we're hurting our kids because our kids don't understand. We have to teach them that it's okay.
That's, I mean,
Like I'm taking
you-
a far extreme here, but I'm just saying. So until we have a common belief system and a common rule, I mean that's great. You can say, well, people have it's just common sense that it's like, well, no, common sense comes from somewhere, and it gets taught. Actually, it's not just something that's innate; it's in us. It's not instinct, you know.
Then you can grab again Aristotle and say, well, he talks about practical wisdom.
Right.
You know that the innocence of a kid is hurt when he's sexually abused by practical wisdom, because you know the effects of that aggression on a kid. You have seen it before. So going into that practical wisdom and taking that as the departure line to universalize the Kantian proof, then you know that is wrong. Or I mean, just like these people that now are cats and dogs and are. The other day I saw this group of people in the park, and I mean it's ridiculous. But
Right.
again, would you like to live in a world where everyone behaves like that? No, we have no future. We know that.
Yeah, we see it. So, and we look at it and go that, but those people would. Or you just think they're uneducated, or they just don't understand. They don't understand the Kantian proof. What is it?
Yeah,
Kantian proof. They haven't been taught the Kantian proof yet, so they don't.
I think that at the bottom of their beings, they know that they are wrong. They are just provoking. They are getting attention.
Well, they're getting attention, but I think they think it's right. I think they believe, like in their own. Many of them feel it's a means to an end. Like, this is me. This is what I'm about, and this is good. This is what makes me feel good. So,
more than thinking that is right, I think that they feel like it's their right.
It's their right, and it's their right to feel good.
Yeah.
To whatever. It makes me feel fine, so I'm going to do this. This is how I feel, so whether it's right or wrong. I've used that philosophy before. It's like, well, I might feel attracted to another woman. Well, I don't act on it. I'm married. I have a spouse whom I love. Even though I feel attracted to that other person, no, it's wrong.
Because by excess, you are going to be destroyed.
Exactly. Well, yes, I'm going to be destroyed. My wife's going to kill me. No, we know that the long-term ending is not good with that,
Yeah.
So, and I suppose if we're keeping our eyes on the horizon all the time to, see where we're headed, that can help us make proper decisions today. But I've had this, I've always said the fall of the West right now, it's happening. I believe the more Christianity and strong faith-based religion is, the further that gets eroded, the more that gets eroded, that then erodes the family. And the more the family gets eroded, the more society gets eroded. And what are we replacing God with? Government. And all of the other things that it's like, well, the government should do this. The government should take care of this. The government should take care of me in this way. The government should take care of me in that way, rather than you taking care of yourself and you have your faith as your guide.
But it's funny, we know what happens next. The problem is that we tend to forget the lessons of history. Again, we have Caligula naming his horse a senator.
Yeah.
So that is,
Right.
I mean, we're at those crazy levels right now.
We're right there, exactly.
Or we have Nero burning the city because he wanted to build another one.
Right.
And we know what happened to Nero. He was killed, right? And so what we are not realizing is that the more power we give to an entity in this way, the government, is we are just fixing our own poison.
Yeah.
Because at the end, that is going to turn into tyranny, and then the oppression is going to come, and then, as Nietzsche points out, is the rebellion of the slaves, right? Is at some point the slaves are not going to to be willing to have that pressure, they are going to rebel, and they are going to impose their own views. And if the views align with nature in this sense, I truly believe this is we will prevail. If not, we are going to crumble, and the story will begin again. Is there's a book, I forgot the name of the sociologists, but these are very renowned American sociologists that the book is called The Fourth Turning, and they talk about cycles of centuries. In fact, the century is not an exact 100 years. It's between 100, 150, according to them. And they say every turning, it's we're getting close to the closing of a centuria.
Right.
And every closing comes with the same dose of craziness. So they are predicting that it's going to crumble.
Yes.
So
it is. Well, and it's biblical as well. When they say the truth is, when right is wrong, when up is down, and down is up, that's the sign of the end of times as we know it.
yeah.
And craziness is here right now. We've got men playing in girls' sports, and I mean literally grown men playing in girls' sports because they identify as a young girl. And that's just crazy town. And
the boxer that was beating all these women in the Olympics.
Exactly. It's just absolutely insanity.
Yeah.
And then there's people saying, well, but we love this, it's a sign of love that we're allowing this person to express themselves in the sport. It's like, no, it isn't.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's like telling somebody who's anorexic that they are fat. You believe you're fat? Yeah, okay, that's okay. You can believe you're fat for sure. Don't eat anything, That is cruelty.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
You're fanning the flames. And it's absolute insanity. And the people that stand by it and say, no, this is a sign of love and compassion. No, it isn't. You're cloaking insanity in love and compassion.
And we go back again to Aristotle. It's in the nature of things that by excess, they get destroyed. So we are destroying all these idea of what is good.
Right.
And at some point, it is going to come back because it's going to hit us in the face.
Yeah.
If we keep feeding, as you were saying, these flames, we're going
That's
to have...
it's not compassion. That's not compassion.
No, of course not. Even if they believe that is compassion. Is, what St. Thomas Aquinas sees as the source of evil is a misunderstood belief. So when you are not... Because by nature, every human being choose what sees right for him.
Right.
But if you misunderstand the belief, then you are probably going to hurt someone. So evil arises. So that also solves the idea that many philosophers talk about if God is evil, if creation holds good and evil,
right?
Because he allows it. But no, it's in the nature of the belief. The wrong belief is the one that provokes evil to emerge.
Right. So you could say that about atheism.
Yeah.
Because atheism is a belief.
Of course.
And in fact, atheists have to have more faith in their belief, I think, than a God-fearing Christian has to have faith in that. Because everything has a creator. Everything does. This microphone has a creator. This iPad here has a creator. Everybody in the planet would agree on that. There's a creator to that. Somebody's made this. But you have a bumblebee land on a flower, and you can't say that there's a creator to that. The most complex, simple thing that we see all the time, but that just evolved out of nothing. Well, that takes a heck of a lot more faith
Yeah.
than believing that there is a God that created that.
It's funny because the really hardcore atheists
Yes.
that I know more about theology than many theologians that I know. It's
Yeah,
just,
because they spend their
so
lives
it
poking holes in it, trying to.
and at the end, I believe that they have to really face their own fears. At the end, there's
Yeah.
going to be like, well, where is this leading you to? There's nothing. So
Why have any rules?
yeah.
Do whatever you want all the time. Do whatever feels good because you're gonna die.
Yeah,
So we're all dying.
that will be
We're all gonna die.
yeah Nietzsche's idea. Like, yeah, well, I hate to wake you up, but there's nothing. So just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And we know that is not truth. It's like it doesn't really make sense.
It makes zero sense.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah.
it's like
Well, and there's many atheists. Well, people claim to be atheists that are really agnostics because they just don't know what they believe. They're just like, well, I don't know if there's a God, but you're not saying there isn't. Well, I don't know that there isn't, but I don't know there is. Okay, well, that's more of a definition of an agnostic, I believe. You don't know. Where an atheist truly believes there is no God. No, I believe there's no God. There is no creator. We just all evolved out of nothing. So we evolved out of nothing. Nothing, just nothing. So even science proves that something can't come from nothing.
of course it's ex nihilo nihilo.
So how did we?
But
where did the universe come
But
from?
we're very clever creatures. Like for example, we talking about creation. We know about the Big Bang and how the whole expansion began and everything. But now we came.
We know how that happened.
No,
Or
I mean
why,
we
or-
don't know. This is where science, philosophy, and theology.
Yeah.
At the end, you need to believe because we cannot see beyond
Right.
the first particles that collided. Right.
Right.
So we have to think that some entity put them together, and I find that God loves tiny things. He loves to pack enormous things into tiny seeds, and so the universe was these two particles that collided together and gave these amazing
Here we are.
universe that we have. But as I was telling you, we're very clever, so we came with the multiverse. So the multiverse now puts like the probabilities for the universe to exist the way that it is in order to give life, I believe are basically impossible. I don't remember, but I believe it's 0.1401. Like that is
Right.
impossible. But now with the multiverse, anything that has a probability is possible because the multiverse is infinite. So
Right.
when you get into these games of probability, if you throw anything to infinite tries, you know that the probability goes from 1401 to 200%. No God required.
Right.
And they are defending that. But then the question that surged is like, oh, and where is that the multiverse comes from? At the end, is the same.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
And
Yeah.
science relies on faith as well. We have faith that Einstein's theories are correct until they are proof that they aren't, right? Because no one has ever traveled at the speed of light.
Yeah.
So how is that we know that is the greatest speed that anything can have in the universe? Well, we rely on faith. And so this is why when you get radical scientists and theologians, and we are not willing to rationally disagree, we come to a null point because I am against your faith, which is in all of these theories, which at the end are also a language of nature, and you're against my idea of a creator. So we are stalling there, right?
Okay, I think, Rolando, we can talk for hours and hours and hours, and we can be here all day. And but I think we'll wrap it up and hope to have you back.
Oh, for sure. As I told you,
there's so many things that we could talk about.
We philosophers love about to talk about work and all these theories and challenges. And
Yes. Well, thank you for what you do, and thank you for bringing the faith to the Catholic system in such a way that you do, even though it might not be formally, but or bringing faith to the public system, I should say. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay. Like I said, I appreciate you coming here today and spending all this time with us, and we definitely want to have you back.
I will be honored.
All right.
I really had a lot of fun, and of course, anytime.
That's super. All right. Well, and thank you everybody for watching today or for listening, and appreciate you tuning into Catholic Education Matters. And we will definitely be coming up with some more great episodes as well. So stay tuned in, and be sure, please like and comment. If you got any comments, please do put them in there. We love to hear your feedback on our different guests and the different topics that we get to speak about. So thanks, Rolando.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for listening to Catholic Education Matters. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast on your favorite listening platform, rate it, and also leave a review. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and family to help spread the word about the impact of Catholic education. Be sure to listen again.